All across the world, there are many mountains man challenge themselves to conquer. In the 2000s and into 2020, it's Everest, K2, or the Matterhorn. But back in the mid to early 1900s, everyone wanted to climb the Eiger. Based in Switzerland, this almost 13,000 foot tall peak overlooks the city of Grindelwald and Lauterbrunnen in the Bernese Oberland of Switzerland. With the first ascent dating back to 1858 via the western-facing slope, the ultimate challenge of this mountain stands facing north. Considered one of the most dangerous ascents in all of mountaineering, the north face of the Eiger is a prized climb to any mountain man or woman. The Eiger has many ways to get to the top. There's the western route, considered to be relatively mellow, a less used eastern route, and there is even a railway built just inside of the north face, which takes tourists along the mountain to see the views the top has in store. The holy grail of Eiger ascents has and always will be the North Wall. This 5,900-foot sheer face is covered in rock and ice and is the biggest north face in all of the Alps. The north face of the Eiger towers over the valley below and sits at the base of two large valleys, which connect at the resort of Kleine Scheidegg. The Eiger has become synonymous with tragedy and disaster. Since 1935, the Eiger has taken the lives of at least 64 climbers, earning the nickname, which translated from German means murder wall. Climbers who are ascending the wall are easily seen in the town below, home to more than enough telescopes that tourists could ask for. When weather permits, the climbers' every move are being watched. This means that those 64 deaths most likely occurred under the watchful eye of those at the base of the wall. Camping at the base of the north face on July 18, 1936, a group of 4 experienced mountaineers started what would be their last expedition in the mountains. Their goal was to conquer what many considered to be the last problem of the Western Alps, and what started as a group of 10 Austrians and Germans was whittled down to 4, this as a result of one who had perished in a training climb, and 5 others backing out due to bad weather that didn't look to be letting up. A group of 4 remained: Andreas Hinterstoesser, Tony Kurz, Willi Angerer, and Eddie Rayner. These 4 had their minds set on reaching the top of the north face. Mountain officials would warn of the incoming weather and made a statement to stay away from the Eiger, but the group did not listen. Despite these unsettling occurrences, the group remained in good spirits among the first part of the climb. While successful up through the first part of the climb, the team was destined for the summit. Well, until the real first problem arose. While crossing the first ice field, a rock loosened by the sun dislodged and struck Willi Angerer in the head, resulting in injuries that would only worsen. Paired with their slowed down pace through the second ice field, the group made the tough decision to return to the valley, lick their wounds, and get ready for another attempt the same year. Forced to downclimb some of the most unforgiving terrain in Europe turned out to be troublesome for the foursome. When the team reached the Hinterstoesser Traverse, another problem arose. To complete the traverse, they needed a fixed line which they had already removed when completing the traverse on the way up. Trapped on the face, the weather would begin to worsen. According to onlookers down in the valley, after 2 days of waiting out the weather, on July 21st, an avalanche and rockfall would ultimately sweep them off the traverse. This avalanche would send Andreas Hinterstoesser down to the base of the mountain, killing him along the way. It would slam Willi Angerer into a rock wall and killed him on impact. Eddie Rayner, who was belaying the 2, was pulled up the wall, slamming him into the face, and died shortly thereafter due to asphyxiation. Only Tony Kurz would survive the snowslide. Unfortunately, he was dangling by his rope, stuck on an overhang. Where he was hanging was right in the area around a tunnel that goes from the mountain outside onto the train tracks inside the wall that was mentioned earlier. Onlookers down in the valley saw the party in distress and would call for rescue. Later that day, among worsening weather, the rescue team tried to get to Kurz from the tunnel leading from the mountain. However, they could not reach Kurz due to the severity of the storm, but got within shouting distance of him. Kurz would tell them exactly what happened, but the rescue team was forced to leave him to dangle, unprotected and exposed, throughout the cold night. The following day, 3 guides came back. Having escaped a few small snowslides along the way, they would arrive at where Tony was hanging. He was still alive, very helpless due to his lost glove and inability to use one arm due to it being completely frozen with frostbite. Tony was forced to rappel down the face of the mountain as far as he could. To do this, he first had to cut loose both of his friends from the rope to get maximum distance possible. This entire process took over 5 hours to complete. He then lowered the rope to the waiting rescuers, who would attach their own rope. The mountain guides only had one long rope with them that could work, which was 60 meters long. One of the rescuers had put the rope between his back and his backpack. Unfortunately, when he made a sudden movement, the rope dropped and fell to the foot of the wall. As a result, the team combined 2 shorter ropes to reach the required length. However, the combined ropes still fell short. Kurz would pull up the rope, fix it, and began his rappel. He was stopped a few meters short of his rescuers by the knot created. To rappel any further, he would have to raise himself up to release the tension of the knot and let it pass through his gear. Desperately, Kurz tried to get past the knot but was unable. He tried for hours and hours to reach his rescuers, who were only a few meters away. The closest the rescue team could get was if one sat on the other's shoulder. He could hardly touch the tip of Kurz's crampon with his own climbing axe. Facing the unlikely scenario that he would live, Tony let out his last words, "I can't go anymore." Tony would eventually lose consciousness and die. The body of Kurz was cut down by means of a knife fixed to a long pole and allowed to fall to the base, where it was recovered on August 25th. The remains of the others have not been found yet. All in all, the Eiger had killed 3 men and tortured the 4th with cold, exhaustion, and hunger. 3 guides put their own lives at risk to attempt to save 4 others who climbed past their abilities and ignored clear signs not to do what they did. These 4 men died due to their need for notoriety and to do something that no one has ever done. Although they were unable to do it, the north face of the Eiger was climbed 1 year later by a group of 4 who successfully did it in a single push. That concludes the story of the 1936 disaster on the Eiger. For more scary, fascinating videos, make sure to come back next week.